some people from non-IT, right? So they are not able to understand properly. So that's the reason we will go a little slow. We'll make them understand and then proceed towards the complex Java things. Right, so we were working, let me share my screen. Right, so we were here yesterday. So I had asked you to tell me if you are able to call M1 and M2 using object, why when I call the variable using that object is throwing an error? This one. So I asked you to go and check. So did you guys check?
SNL actually we have to give that system.out.println inside that t.f we should mention.
It will work, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is happening is we are calling this, right, from using this object t.f, but then t.f is what? So object dot variable name.
Mm.
So either you print it or you assign it. Since it is an integer, right? F is an integer, int x equal to assign it to another any other variable. So it brings that 100 here, 1000 here, and we assign it to some other variable and use it. Or you directly put it inside SYSO, right? And then print it because we are using that, right? So either assignment we need to do, otherwise we can print it. So that's why now we don't see the errors, right? So that was the reason. So did you guys practice any other Java program yesterday? Can someone show it to me what you did? Or you guys are just sitting doing nothing?
Anil, can I share my screen? I'll
Yeah,
show
please.
some programs I have.
Yeah, please, please. I just want to see what type of complex programs you are able to understand, run.
Anil, you can see my screen.
Yeah, I'm able to.
Okay. So just have mentioned like simple like string functions, like
Okay,
what would we call the string and what would be the connotation, like adding the two strings like in two
okay,
methods. I have
correct.
done this. So
Very
then
good. So you have one array of strings and then you have concatenated them S1 plus S2,
S1,
right? And
yes,
S1
yes,
dot
yes, yes.
concat. Very good.
Yeah. Then I have to one more like for object
Object
class like
array. Okay.
when we say like integer string chat floor and all the things, and we have to
Yes.
print the output for using
Correct.
this for each loop. If I
Yeah.
mention like object I is to it.
Yeah.
Then if I mention I, it will be printed the will get all the things. This
Can you
example,
run this program? Yeah.
yeah,
So,
sure.
so that the other people can also see.
See, I'm getting the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what he has done, he has created an object array, not a string array, right? Object array means you can have string, integer, float, whatever you want inside that, right? A customer, a bank customer who holds an account, or a student who goes to a college or a school has multiple properties, right? Name also, age also, fees also, or then employees has salary also. So they are in different forms. Name is string, right? Age is a number, integer is attendance is an integer or a percentage value, right? And his fees, student, if he has a fee, then it's a decimal, so it's a float number. Employee has a salary, which is a float number. So multiple type of data he has, and he has just put it inside that same array. And now using the for loop, he's just printing it, right? Using an for loop. Next. So this type of program, very small, but very interesting also, right? So it is easy to do
Yes,
also.
yes. Then I have printed like 1 to 10 numbers by using this
Okay.
while loop and do
Okay.
while along with for for loop also.
Yeah. So see this program, first one he is having a value integer I equal to 10. Then he is using a while loop while I is less than equal to I is less than equal to 10. So 10 is less than equal to 10. If you use that I, then it will be one condition. He prints something. Then there's another do while, right? He will do while means do while is opposite of while. While is first evaluate the condition. Do while will do execute and then evaluate the condition in the second step, right? So first iteration it will always execute the system.out.println, then I minus it will do, and then it will evaluate, okay, now the value of I, whatever after I minus is correctly equal to greater than 0 or not. So that's the reason do while will work that way. And for loop is, you already know, there are for loop, I is the initialization, center is the condition, and I plus plus is the incremental. Okay, next. Good one.
Next. The same thing. This is normal array. Yeah.
Normal array. Good. Okay, I think we are good. So
The same thing yesterday you have showed Anil, right? The same program. Just output I have mentioned like system output printer inside that I have mentioned this t.f.
Very good. So this is the same program which I was asking you to practice, right? Same thing he has done. He is able to access the methods using the object, but for variables, we have to either assign it to any other variable. If you are calling someone, right? If you invite your friend to your house, you will ask them to sit, right? So similarly, that variable you called, but then you are not asking it to be assigned to someone else. So it is just saying, what should I do now? Shall I stand in your house? Like that. Same scenario is there. So he called the friend to his house, but if I don't assign it to system.out.println or any other variable, the person will be just standing there, and that is why he will feel bad. So he will say error is there. So that's the reason it was throwing error when I was doing it yesterday, and I wanted you to investigate and work on it. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
So one more, I have Anil. If we mention here like Java variables t is equals to new Java variables, we have to mention the class name, right? What are the class we have mentioned? The same thing we have to mention here, I think, right?
Yeah, if you want to do instance variables, then yeah, you can create a Java variables t equal to new Java variables.
Okay.
That is the instance, right? It's the same class.
Okay, yeah.
Good. Thank you, others. Anyone else wants to show? Ambika?
I'm using phone, sir. Sorry.
But
Yeah.
that should not be an excuse, right?
Yes.
Gangadhar, did you practice?
So tomorrow I will show you.
You did not practice. Okay, at least tomorrow. Kavya?
Next class I will show.
Yeah, please. Next day, I mean to say you'll show it tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
No, I am asking Kavya.
Yes.
So today you don't have, okay. Please make it ready tomorrow. Some of the Java small programs about array, strings, right? Printing them, having a loop, different type of loops, right? These are all basic things of Java, foundation of Java, right? So just practice it, and I want to see it tomorrow. Pawan also say it tomorrow. Prashant, what about you? Prashant, don't be so shant. Please respond. Are you there, Prashant? Samrin, what about you? No, people have stopped responding. When I'm asking something to show, people have stopped responding. Sangmesh? No. Sangmesh, can you share your screen and show what you have practiced?
Sir, I'm connected with the mobile.
But why do you want to connect with mobile? I don't understand. If you are in a training, you should not connect in a mobile, right? The screen would be small. You have to zoom to see what things are being taught, right?
Yeah.
How will you manage that?
Sorry, sir. I will show you tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Tomorrow or today? So Songmesh, tomorrow, Ambika, tomorrow I want to see you
Yes.
log in using laptop and not on mobile, right? And I want to see some Java programs.
Okay, sir.
Okay. What about Sri Sel?
I will show you tomorrow.
Okay, so tomorrow we have Saturday. So tomorrow it will be a practice day. Okay, I want to make sure you guys are practicing. So I want to see many programs, Java basics. Sri Lakshmi, you must be having some programs, right? You might have practiced. I expect everyone, right? So all of us should be good enough to practice and go further to the complex things, right? How long we will be just behaving like kids, right? We have to learn and grow. So similarly, we started 10 days back. Now again, we are back to square one. We are again learning what is a variable, right? What is integer, what is float, what is double. So better is practice. So let's practice and move forward. There are so many things, Java is an ocean. We all know that. If I spend 100 days in Java, also Java, we cannot complete Java. So many things are there. But from interview point of view, so that you guys can clear the interview and then start working, we are trying to shorten this course as much as possible. We want you to go and have your career path, right? So we are trying to squeeze everything in smaller classes. I was supposed to take 1 hour class, it goes to 1.5 hours, right? And goes to 2 hours also. So we are putting a lot of effort. So you guys also have to put. Sri Lakshmi, you can share your screen if you have practiced something.
Sir, my clip is opening. I'll show you. It's a little bit slow.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Just share and let me just have a glimpse of what programs we have done. Others has done good job. So it is all on your interest. If you don't take interest, you will not, right? You will not learn. You have to show interest. Practice half an hour every day Java, because Java is what is going to help you. Selenium is functions. There are a lot of functions we have to reuse. But basic programming and logical skills, Java will develop. Java will help you. Lakshmi, can you share if quickly possible?
No, sir, it is very slow. I don't know today what happened.
Okay, so tomorrow, no excuse. Tomorrow, be ready. Tomorrow, 100%. I want to see everyone's, except others. Everyone, I want to see. Okay.
I didn't
Okay,
done
sir.
much. I just done two like that. I'll show you.
Okay, but what is the reason for your slowness? I mean to say, what is the problem with your network speed, or your laptop is slow, or what is that?
Laptop is little bit slow, sir.
What is the
It was
reason?
it was an old one,
Okay.
and I have other servers also. I used to do as a PHP developer, so XAMPP server is there for me.
Uh-huh.
So because
No,
of
I
that,
mean to say,
used to
whatever slow, if you share your screen,
Uh,
network speed is good, means I can see your screen, right? And I can see what programs you have practiced. So tomorrow be ready with some of the basic programs, right? And I will see you. Okay?
yes.
Sharing your screen should be possible, right? Slowness of laptop, I can see
I'll
that.
share you.
Okay.
1 second, I'll share you.
Sure, yeah. I encourage everyone, practice for half an hour, small Java programs, because we all are not from IT backgrounds, right? We are from some non-IT background. So until we don't practice, we will not get the heck of the Java. We have to be ready now. Days are coming in when you will be attending interviews, right? So that time, your foundation should be at least, you don't answer the complex questions, but at least what is variable, how do we print them, what is an array, how do we add elements to an array, array list, right? All these big, small basic data structures. We are not going to maps and hash tables, right? We are just trying to see if we can do the basics. Yeah, go ahead, share, Lakshmi. Okay, I think Lakshmi will share tomorrow. Tomorrow, Lakshmi, please be ready. Okay, tomorrow, today it's okay. So let's now continue.
I shared it tomorrow, sir. It is very slow. I don't know. I hope it is opened. My network is also slow, I think.
Okay.
I'm checking.
No,
Second.
that's okay. At the end of the session, maybe you be ready and try to
Yeah,
show it.
I'll
Okay.
show you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So we finished the basics variables yesterday and methods, right? We created some variables. We created some methods and variables of outside the main. We have to create an object and then access them. So that's what we learned. So now we are back to previous first day. So oops, we have done what is oops concepts. We don't need to practice them. Variables, array, right? Arrays we will go now. Again, I'm trying to explain it in some simple way. Arrays. So array test, right? So array is just data structure to store, right, consecutive characters, right? So integer array will store integers, string array will store strings, right? Like that, character array will store characters, and any other array, what you define, object array, right? Object array also we can create. Just now we saw, we can just instead of mentioning integer, we can provide object and then store any type of data. Like that, array is a basic data structure to store different or multiple elements. And what is the concept of array? The concept of array is it stores data in consecutive memory location. So say for example, there is an array of integers and it is having 10, right? 10 values it should have. So what it does, so say 10,000, 2,000 is here, right? 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, so on, then say 10,000, right? So these all 10 values are stored in consecutive memory location. And there is a limitation, one more limitation is this 10 we have to specify during our declaration. So what happens? You have to specify the size of the array, the length of the array. So it gets blocked. This memory location gets blocked. That is why to overcome this, Java introduced array list, which is dynamic. This is static because it is a fixed length. So 10 means 10. So if you don't have values also, that's okay, right? But it will block these many memory locations for this integer array X, right? So these memory locations are getting wasted. We are not storing them. We are not using in those memory locations, but we are just blocking them for future use, thinking that maybe in future he will use, the programmer will use, he will assign something. But generally, this is getting wasted, right? If I create thousands of such arrays, thousands of memory locations will just be staying there idle. So that to overcome that, we introduced array list, which we will discuss later on. But the core concept of array is the memory is blocked, right? So here see integer int array equal to new int of 10, right? Int array of 10. So array is a data structure which stores similar data types of data. Similar type of data, integer will store integer, string will store string. So how do you declare a string array? String, same, there is no string array, there is the name right? String array, I'm giving a name equal to new is the keyword. Say create a new array for me, and then again string of 10, right? And a semicolon. So the structure of declaration is same. What type is different? Only the type is different. Here we have integer, here we have string. So this will store only integers, right? If I say, see, this is the integer array I created. Now I am on the first 0th index. If I want to store string, will it allow? No, right? See, string. This empty is also a string. Nothing is also a string. What it is saying? What it is saying? Mismatch. Type mismatch. Cannot convert string to integer. So what Java compiler is trying to do? It is trying to assign this value to a integer, right? But integer is different type, data type, and string is different data type, right? But whether you give value or not, it is the same error, right? So ABC cannot be converted to integer simply until you explicitly convert it. Integer dot parse int, and then you pass the string. So now what will happen now? In such scenarios, integer, right? So now what it is doing, this is another class available in Java util package which converts strings to integer, right? Which converts string to integer. Now we can store integer in integer array, right? So this I was just showing an example. But generally integer array will only store integer, right? Any number of value, right? But if I again store a decimal, what will happen? Same problem will happen, right? This is a decimal value. It will not, it will say cannot. See, same error. Cannot convert float from float to integer, right? So again, this also needs to be converted to integer and stored in the integer array. Similarly, in string array, right? Now see the magic. String array dot or index of 0 equal to semicolon, and then I assign. See, it is considering nothing also as a string. It is allowing. So now I am able to store the ABC in the first index, right? Can I store integer in string? No, right? But what if I do two string? Will it work? How? See, here we use that integer dot parseInt and stored a string into integer. Why the two string is not working? One is a number. I'm converting that one to string, and I'm trying to store in a string array. So what it is saying? What it is saying? Cannot make a static reference to the non-static methods to string from the type object. What do you mean by this? Cannot make a static reference to the non-static methods. So what is happening is this number, right, directly cannot be converted to a string. Why? Because toString is a static method in Java, right? In Java util package. So now, how do you convert an opposite is easy, integer.parseInt, right? But what about this is also another homework I'll give you. So today I am giving you a homework. How do I convert? A task could be how to convert integer to string, right? This will be your task. How to convert integer to string. One is an integer. I want to convert using toString. It is throwing error. And you see, after one, I'm not able to even see anything, right? Dot if I do, I don't get any options to select toString method. So you practice it and tell me tomorrow. So what I was telling, string array can be used to store strings. So any number, see 1, 2, 3 inside a double quotes is also a string. Remember that. Don't think that 4, 5, 4, 5, 3 is a number, so it should be an integer. No, whatever inside double quotes is a string, whatever inside single quote is a character, right? So we can store four numbers also inside string array, but it should be in double quotes. So then this data we can convert to a number and use it using integers as %. But I'm just showing you. See, generally, say Bangalore, right, is a string. We understand clearly. It is so simple to understand. Bangalore is a string. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or any number is a number. But if it is comes under double quotes, it becomes automatically Java considers that as a string. So we are able to store, right? So string array stores strings, integer array stores integers. Homework is how do I convert an integer to a string, right? So tomorrow I want to see with your other Java programs about variables and creating objects, calling methods, calling variables, arrays, how do I create an array, and then how do I convert two things, this one and the string to number, right? Both. So tomorrow I want to see that, and vice versa. That one vice versa. I've already told you integers are integers dot %, right? This is the method integer dot parse int.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, for integer to string, first we need to declare the variable.
Okay.
One variable is equal to one number,
Mhm.
and later string string str is equal to some like integer dot to string of that number, that variable.
You mean to say converting a string to a number?
Integer to a string.
Integer to a string. Okay, this one you are saying.
Yeah.
Say for example, I want to string this one. It is throwing error. So what you suggest now?
String error. Yeah, for this, first we need to declare the variable. Like
Oh, so you mean to say
int
directly we cannot do. So take a string variable, string x equal to 1, and then what? I assigned one value to string. Can I assign
not
like this?
not this one. First we need to like integer variable.
Okay.
Int.
Let me see. Integer x equal to 1. Then x
Okay.
dot to string.
And next in the next line,
Mhm.
no. String.
Okay.
String
String y equal to
integer
x
dot
dot.
integer dot.
Okay.
You need to type integer
Integer dot.
to string
Mm-hmm.
of x.
Okay. Very good. If I do like this, you will get a string y,
Yes.
right? And now I
Yes.
can assign y to this, right?
Yes.
So all of you, answer is ready, but I'll quickly delete it. You have to practice it, right? So what is the core concept? Directly we cannot assign. Like directly we cannot access without object. Similarly, we cannot directly store integer in a string array, right? So there is you have to catch your ears, opposite side. You take the long route. So you have to do that because Java will not allow simply. You have to do some exercise. So do that exercise and let's discuss tomorrow, right? So why we are not able to assign, right? This is the string array directly by string of 0 equal to 1, right? This is what is the error I'm getting. So how do you convert this integer to string and then assign it? She has told us a way. Maybe there you might find a different approach, right? So you try tomorrow and let me know. You have to research from wherever Google, your friends. You can ask. You can start typing in your. Automatically, you will start getting answers. Once you type the program right in your Eclipse, you'll start your mind will start working. Then you will try to mouse over and see what is this error. Oh, now I have to research further. How do I convert this integer to string? and then automatically you'll start getting multiple solutions. Okay, please do it and show it to me tomorrow. Okay, let's come back. Thank you so much. So string array, integer arrays, like that we'll have float array or character array or whatever, double array. Any type of array we can create. Most widely used will be string and integers. Just remember that. Right? In case there is an application which handles decimal numbers, then you can create a double array or a float array. Right? But from an automation point of view, from capturing UI elements, right, it will be either integer, some numbers, right, telephone numbers, or some car price, or some mobile, if it's a mobile application, there the value of the mobile, right, price of the mobile, or any other like products, right, like Flipkart, Amazon, or any website we have to automate, then the value will be either number or string, right? So sometimes it might be the value might be decimal. So if most of them are decimal, then use a float array and store them in float. But in 90% cases, we use string and integer. So integer array stores integers and string array stores in strings, right? So simple. There is no complexity in this. And then once you store all the value, see, using index, you have to store 0th index, first index, second index, based on the size, right? If my size is, these are very, very basics. If my size is 10, I can store 11th element, right? See, I've already told, okay, please store 10 elements in my array. But then I cannot go ahead and say I store the 11th element. So what it will do? You have already told I have a size integer array size 10. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So till 9, 10th element is complete, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? So 10 elements are done. Now I'm trying to store 11th element, right? Equal to some value, say 11. So what will happen? What will happen now? Will it print? So let me comment this because this is having an error. So that is your task for tomorrow. But now see, we are assigning 11th element, or maybe one more, 12th. Right? This 11 index will be storing 12th element, right? Because we started from 0. So it is going till 12. So 11, 0 to 11 will store 12 elements. Now what will happen? Will it print? Right? So this method already is outside. So these are all methods, right? We don't need them. So now for loop, right? For loop is there. So for loop, integer I equal to 0. So this is the structure of for loop. Just don't forget, for loop is a loop to iterate over the different elements of data structures, whether it is array list or array or any other data structure, right? So we can, simple for loop, we can do anything. Say for I equal to 0, I is less than 100. No need to use any array also. Simple. Till 100, print me the number from starting from 0. So what will happen? Print I if you do instead of array. I'm just showing you the example of for loop. So now this is not going to use anything in, because we are not specifying the array, right? So now if I run, it will just print the numbers. What it will do? It will print the numbers. Array out of bound. So this is the array for this, right? So this also let me comment for some time. Right, that was the error when we store more the size. So now if I run for loop, it will print 1 to 100, right? 1 to 99 because we started with 0. We started with 0, so 100 reaches at 99. So for loop is a basic loop, right, available in Java to iterate over the different multiple values. So I just gave a condition, start with 0, then my value 0 is less than 100. Yes, it becomes true. Then execute this. Come back and increment I. So there are 3 steps involved in for loop, right? First is int I equal to 0. So we assigned it I equal to 0. Initialization done. Now conditional, right? I less than 100. If I less than 100, right? And then printing it. If it is I less than 100, print this, right? And then go and increment this I plus plus. So this is the step. These many steps, they have put it together in one single line, right? Initialize the variable, put a condition in between the semicolons. So semicolons are used. See, I will show you. See, first, what type of loop you want? You want to increment the number, right? So we generally use integers. We can use any other type also, but don't get confused. Use integers because we have to increment that value, right? So first one is initialization of the incrementer. So I is the incrementer here, right? Which will increment. I mean to say plus 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 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Every time it runs plus 1, automatically Java will do it for you. I plus plus will increment, add 1 to the previous value, and then execute what is there inside the for loop. So first is in I equal to 0, then this condition is evaluated. Okay, I 0 is less than 100, true. Then execute it and then finish that execution and come back and increment I, right? So it will increment 0 to 0 plus 1 is 1. Now again the same condition is evaluated. 1 is less than 100, yes. Okay, then print this. Again come back and increment 1 to 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is less than 100, yes. Print this, execute whatever is there inside the for loop, and then again increment till less than 100. So what is the number less than 100? 99, right? 100 is not less than 100. 100 is equal to 100. So 99 is the number which is less than 100. So till 99 it will go and execute your print statement, right? So this is the for loop. For loop has 3 parts, right? So first is initialization of your incrementer comparing with the condition, and incrementer incrementing. So now here I am using an integer array, right? So I want to work with this integer array. So I will not use 100, right? I will use, say, in this dot array dot size or length, right? So length is, if I directly provide like this, it works, right? But size, if it is an array list, you have to provide the method size like this with method call. But Java is for length, it is directly allowing you to GTH, right? To provide the length without the bracket. So now I want to print. So what I will do, I will just say SYSO and print your integer array of I, because one by one we want to print, right? So now if I run this, so there are some things which we don't need, right? Run this program. So it printed till 10, right? 9, 2, 3, whatever. See, now starting from here, index is 0, 9 value. So it printed. Index is 1, index is 2, 3, 4. Similarly, it went till the last 10th element. Because our size is, or the length is 10, right? We have specified 10th here, 10 here. Now that's what I was showing. If I try to store more than 10, so what will happen? It will throw out of bound exception. It will say you are trying to store an element, say 10, index 10 here, right? This 10 index is out of bound. The array does not have any capacity. Array capacity is, we have already seen here, array capacity is 10. So this many only memory location it has. This extra 11th, 12th, 13th is not there available, right? So it will say, okay, we will not allow you, please fix the issue. Then we will get to know, oh, there is an issue with the index, 10th index, which is the 11th element. So we don't need to do that. So that's what Java automatically will, during your runtime, it will go and try to store this value, and say, it will find out, oh, the length is 10, but it's trying to store the 11th element in the array. So throw the error to the user. So user will get an error and we have to fix that error. So we don't need to We are not. So we cannot do it. So we'll delete that, right? This is the error, array out of bound exception. So sometimes in interview, they will ask you about Java exceptions also. So there is a list of exceptions which Java has. And what are these exceptions? These exceptions are also classes, right? We have defined our class, right? Array here, right? Where is our class name? Here, right? Similarly, all these exceptions are also classes. I mean to say, there is the object of the exception class is created, and that object is used to print the message on this console, right? So Java is, everything is into object and classes. So just keep it in your mind. Don't worry about what exception class is telling, but all Java, everything, error conditions, error handling, or I mean to say storage of elements. So everything is done using objects. So object and classes, right? So they have created everything inbuilt. Everything is ready-made for us. We just need to know how to use it, right? So array list, array, everything is ready-made for us, right? We just have to give new keyword, right, and create it. Use the new keyword, use it. Other things are readily available for us. Now, once you create that array, whether string or integer, we can play with it. We can store our values and use it further for further validations. Capture all the car value. Say there are 5 cars in Maruti, 5 models, right? One is having 10 lakhs, one is 12 lakhs, one is for 14 lakhs, 15 lakhs, it goes till 30 lakhs. So capture on the website, capture all the price of all the cars and store it in an integer array, and then you do whatever validations you want. So your project manager or your team lead will tell you, this is the test case manual team has created. In the manual test case, what it will be there? First car, say Maruti Alto, 5 lakhs. Maruti next version, 6 lakhs. Next version, 10 lakhs. So these are the prices. It is displayed on the website. Can you please validate? So manual team has created and validated, but I want to automate that because this website is used every day by how many people? In Maruti website is opened by minimum 1 lakh people in a day, right? Because that's the most selling car. So they will give it to the automation team. The automation team will capture this using Selenium driver.find element and store in an integer array. So all those 5 values, car prices, will store in an integer array, and I will run a loop. Okay, if the car model also I have to catch, otherwise I cannot compare. If the car model is Alto, whatever the in 0th index value should be 5 lakhs. If the car model is Swift, the second index, it should be 7 lakhs. Like that, it will come in future, right? You got the gist? All values, numeric values on the website, we will capture and store in an integer array, and using a loop, we will iterate them to validate. Or we will directly also, we can, if integer array of 0, I've already stored it, right? I can put in an if condition is equal to 9, right? I can see it's 9 here, right? I stored the car price or say price of any product, then do something. Price is correct. Price is correct, right? If it is other than 9, right? So we have to else condition. Else inside this we can say price is incorrect, right? So now what will happen? If condition also we can use to do our validations, or we can use a for loop to do our validations. So what will happen if I run this? The if will get evaluated. See, it got printed here. First one, price is correct. Why? It is simply saying my integer array 0th index is equal to 9 or not. It's 9. So print it, right? So this is how your automation also will work. You capture the elements, put in your array, that is your actual values. Expected will be, you can put in another array which has the expected values. Now compare those two, expected array and actual array. So one by one. For the Alto first 0th index, Swift second index. Similarly, all the other cars also will have your expected and your actual captured from the website. Now compare that, right? 0th element with 0th element matching, go to the next. Second, first element with first element matching, go to next. Anywhere where there is a mismatch, right? Throw the error, say, and the development team will say, oh yeah, our website is showing incorrect price. Take the expected value from the test cases, right? And the actual will be from the website. You have to capture it using Selenium, and then you compare them. So this is a real life example of an automation test case, right? A manual test case converted to an automation test case. Simple. This is how the automation is going to be. You have to do all the validations using all these data structures, store them in data structure like array or array list, and then iterate over them and do your validations. Put some condition, like I put it, if integer array is equal, this is a single element comparison. But if I have to compare everything, I will use a loop, right? I have to iterate multiple times, so I will use a loop. But if I have to do only one validation, I will use a if condition and do it, right? If integer array of 0, the first index is equal to 9, then price is correct, else price is incorrect, right? Now suppose I have your expected is 9 and I have captured from the UI as 10, right? So expected is here 9. Now what if I run? What will happen? See, it is incorrect, it will say. Why? Your expected was 9, but you captured 10 from the UI. So price will be in this, else condition will get evaluated, right? So I'll show you how to check that also. So I'll run in debug mode, right? Right click, run as, debug as Java application. Then automatically where you put the debug point, it will stop. So your actual is here, right? But your expected, what your manager or manual test case has given or test list QA lead has given is 9. So now it will evaluate this condition. Press this button F6 in keyboard, right? Or this in the Eclipse tool. So it automatically this condition is failing, and you are coming to else. So if the condition inside if is failing, the Java will say go to else. So it will start executing whatever is there inside the else, right? So it will say price is incorrect. So again execute it. So price is incorrect. So it gets printed, right? So if is also one conditional, like for is a conditional with an iterator, right, which iterates again and again and runs over a set of elements. If is a single condition, right? You can put anything inside this, right? In this, any condition you can put. So if I say 1 equal to 1, what will happen? You tell me now. I'll stop this. If I put 1 equal to 1, this is also on condition, right? So what it will happen? See, Java is so smart nowadays. Earlier these things, these orange things never used to come, but they have developed Java in such a way. Now they are throwing some information to the user. What is this condition? This yellow is saying dead code. See here, right? Why it is saying? Because 1 equal to 1 will always be true. See what happens, the compiler or the JVM while typing itself also is trying to do some background verification, right? I will do 2 equal to 1. See, that dead code condition is gone now. Now this becomes dead code. Why? 2 will never become equal to 1. Only else will execute in future every time, right? So this becomes dead code. See how Java is doing. JVM is trying to do some background conditional validations without even executing. 2 will never become to 1, right? 2 is always greater than 1. So this section will never get executed. What is there in the if? Every time else will come, right? So it is saying dead code. You might continue to keep it, but it is just giving a warning saying that it is a dead code. right? So now if I say 1 equal to 1, this becomes dead code. Why? Because this portion will never get executed, right? Only 1 equal to 1 always will become true. 1 is always true, so this will get executed all the time. So what will happen if I run? Price is correct, right? So this is evaluated and this is printed. This condition will never be used in life if I put 1 equal to 1, because 1 is always equal to 1, right? So if I put the opposite, any false conditions, fail condition, then this will always get executed. This will never get executed. So this becomes the dead code. So this is how the advancement has been done in Java package, right? So they have put some warning to the user even before execution, even before compilation, right? Internally, they are running something, right? The engine is active, right? As soon as I type something, right? See, for example, this is if condition is done, I will show you. Say int x equal to 10. See, I'm not 0. I'm not giving that semicolon, right? It is throwing error, right? Multiple markers at this line, right? First of all, your spelling is incorrect, right? Second one is something here also, red color, syntax error, insert semicolon. Okay, I inserted semicolon. And this also I'll correct. Like that, semicolon and then integer. Java is very smart enough to, now also there is a warning. The value has never been used. You have assigned a value 0 to x, but where are you using it? You're not using it until you use it somewhere, right? That warning will stay there. Once you use it, your warning goes. So it means what? It means if I don't have this println, I am wasting my memory, right? I'm not using it. I am saying Java, please create a variable x and put 0. So what it will do? From somewhere in memory, right? Somewhere in memory, x will be stored. X equal to 10, x equal to 0, right? It will give a location, memory location, and it will store a value. But we are not using it. No one is referencing that. No one is calling that. So it says it's never used. The value of local variable x is not used. So that's why we should not keep your variables which are not using the program. We should not have dead codes, right? We should not have dead code in your program. Dead code is a code which will never get executed. So we should have some conditions which will either go in true condition or else condition. So that's why if we are generally use for loop or some conditions integer array of 1 equal to 8, right? So now this is a condition. It will get evaluated later on during execution. And then based on that, decision will be taken whether to go here or in the else condition, right? So you have to be careful. Don't create a program with dead code. Don't use the variable, create the variable and not use it. So that is an unused variable, just blocking the memory, nothing else. So you have to be, see, for automation engineers, it doesn't matter. But for developers, it matters a lot, because what happens is the lot of memory space in the server, right, will be consumed. And if they have like 10 developers, that all of them creating so many variables and not using them, so many, like even if I create an integer array, right, and I'm not using it anywhere, right? See, if I have created an integer array and then I don't have these conditions at all, right? What I'm doing in this program? Nothing. I'm just storing it, right? Here in this scenario also, developers should be careful that if I'm just creating and storing values, but I'm not doing any further usage of this, so generally again it will block the memory and just be there. Every time the other main program will run, this will also values will get assigned and it will lie in the memory. But we are not using this integer array for any validation, right? So memory will be of waste. So you have to be very smart enough. Developers, most of the time, they have to be smart enough. For automation also, be careful. Don't create such dead codes and infinite loops. So infinite loop, yeah, we'll show you an example of infinite loop also. Sometimes this kills us. Infinite loop. Same thing. I'll create a for loop. Okay. Now tell me what condition will create an infinite loop. Infinite loop is what? Infinite loop is a loop which will never complete, right? Infinity. It goes and goes and goes and goes. So it creates lot of memory is consumed, right? So that is not good. So now tell me, I equal to 0, I is greater than 100. Or maybe I is greater than 0. I is greater than 0. Like we have 0. So is it less than 1? I is less than 1, I plus plus. Now how many times I will print? 0. 0 is less than 1, true. Increment it. 1 is less than 1, no. So now this is not an infinite loop. Tell me a condition for infinite loop. How we will create an infinite loop? What will always be true? Just I told you, right? I equal to 1. Still I plus plus will increment and 2 equal to 1, it will fail. But what if I give 1 equal to 1? Here. What is saying? Comparing identical expressions. It is just a warning, right? But now what will happen? See, whether we have incrementer or not, we are incrementing I and printing it, right? But then this condition always will become true. And see what happens. Exception, out of bound, that I will remove. Where is that? So you can click here and see. Automatically it is saying array of I, when it reaches I value 10, right? Say I will print hello instead of this. Right now, let's run this. Will it stop? It will never stop. What is happening? This strings hello, 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 hello. Console. Console is also an area where the hello is showing to the user, right? But it is having some memory. To show to the user also, we need some memory, right? Okay, this is the value. Let it show to the user. This is the value. Let it show to the user. So infinite loop is getting created here. The condition is always true. 1 is always equal to 1. So we print hello. Another time also it comes hello, hello. So this is a condition where it has created an infinite loop. So you should be careful also. So go ahead and stop it. Until you don't stop it, it will never complete. And in this happens in a developer's code, what will happen? The server will get stuck. The server will, at one point of time when the RAM is full, 16 GB or whatever GB memory is full, that time it will throw error and it will hang the server. So this is hackers will do. Ethical hackers will find these problems. Unethical hackers will do this. What they will do? They will ingest one JavaScript and run an infinite loop. So JavaScript is a code in all our websites, right? In all our websites, see, we will find JavaScripts. JavaScript is an injection we do in our JavaScript. So this JavaScript is embedded inside our UI, right? So there is a JavaScript running, modals.js. Mode here also. owl.carousel.min.js, 3 JavaScript, bootstrap.js, right? So these all JavaScripts are put by the UI developer. But what hackers will do, hackers will use their own JavaScript, which creates an infinite loop or some virus, whatever, right? Dirty things, and then they will inject inside the UI and they will make, right? So we, in our automation also, there is a JavaScript executor, right? I will tell you that in future. What hackers do, JavaScript executor is there. JavaScript executor. Executor JS equal to new JavaScript executor. You have to import this, Control C, right? And then you have to pass driver object here. If you don't have, you have to create before that, and then JS dot execute script. See, execute script is there. So what hackers will do, they will execute one infinite loop in this script. They will pass a script, like I told you, like in the UI, right? These are JavaScript. Similarly, they will write one infinite condition JavaScript. Java is a language. JavaScript is also a language, right? So the JavaScript is specifically for UI, right? For websites and all, they use JavaScript because the advantage of JavaScript is few lines of codes are required, whereas Java has little bit extra additional lines, and there are other advantages also. That's why JavaScript is used for UI development. So what the hacker will do, he will use such codes, right, and execute one infinite loop JavaScript here and execute it, right? So what will happen? It will go, the website will be either hacked by a virus or an infinite loop website, and the user will not be able to use the website. The server is crashed. So the hackers, unethical hackers, do such activities. We should be careful about it. So our code should not create such infinite loops, right? So practice this also. Infinite loop also you practice. How do I create my own infinite loop? Right? 1 equal to 1 equal is a basic. I'm just an example. There can be any other condition, right? Right? You can put a string condition. Say hello dot equals hello, right? This is also an infinite loop condition, right? Just run it. Any condition which is matching, right? Again, one infinite loop happening. Hello is always equal to hello. So this is executing whatever is there inside the for loop. Similarly, you also practice all these infinite. So until you don't come to your IDE and start playing, right? You'll not get the heck. I mean to say, initially when I was a Java developer, I was a Java developer some few years in my initial career. But that time, since I was a fresher, I was so excited to run programs, right? So I did not have a laptop. I used to go to my friend's house and then practice all this dirty things only. I used to practice. How do I break the system? How do I create some infinite loops? What will I used to? What will? But normal, I never used to practice. Abnormal things I used to practice just to see what the Java compiler responds, how it responds. So that's how you get interest. Because see, when you tell a kid, right, hey, don't do that, or don't use bad words, he will use the bad words more. Why? He is inquisitive. He is thinking, why my parents are telling me not to use that? What will happen, right? Let me use and see. If I use, I'll get scolding. If I use, I will not get scolding, right? Or something else is going to happen. So he's inquisitive. The minds are like that. My brain is wired like that. So always try to break the things. So if you try to break the things, in that process, you get to know so many things, right? So by mistakes also, we learn so many things. So that's what is about array today, right? So we have done Java variables and array. So now let's see what is next for us. Array list, right? We'll go to array list. So array list is also very similar to array. Only difference is it is dynamic. The memory location is dynamic. See, I told you just some time back, array stores a fixed length elements. Number of elements is fixed. Always it will have to provide it before we start adding to it. But array list is dynamic. If you create array list, you don't need to specify the size or the length of the array list. You can add, and that much only element will be stored in memory. The other memory is not touched. Only whatever you add, that much memory only will be consumed. So let's see one array list program, right? Array list. Here we already have done it, right? So we created an array list of string list, array list of, what is the type? String, array list equal to new array list string. So I can use another approach also to practice these both the ways. You can directly also say array list both the places, but array list is type of a list. It implements the list interface. So we can also say list, but end value is always an array list, because the right side is the important thing, right? Right side we are saying create an array list of string, right? Now if I say integer here, will it work? It will throw error. See, this is what you should try to break things. Something you do. Object. Will it work? No. See, it is saying type mismatch. You are initially starting saying that I want an array list of type string, but then you are saying give me an array list of type object using the new keyword. So it is saying type mismatch, right? So you have to play with it. So now I am saying give me an array list with the type string. See, we are specifying the size anywhere? No. Right? We are not specifying the size anywhere. So it is a dynamic data structure. There is no need to tell the size upfront. You have to just use it during usage. Whatever memory that time it is consuming, that much memory only it will keep. The remaining memory is available for processor to assign it to some other resource, right? So now we have an array list. Array list dot add. So what we did, we created a string, but we are adding integer. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 are integers. So can we assign? No. So if you mouse over, it is saying the method add int comma string in the type string is not applicable for argument int, right? It is saying we cannot add method with integers. So what we will do, we will change it to string. So let's change 10 to string, right? So now the error is gone. Error is gone, right? If it is an integer array, we could have just continued. If it is a string array, obviously provide in double quotes. Remember, string double quotes, character single quotes. Don't forget this. Integer just number, float with decimal f, double with d, decimal with d, right? And all these data types, integer, float, character, double, whatever it is, boolean, right? So all these are having different memory consumption. Character will store 2 bytes, integer will store 1 byte. Like that, the memory also is consumed differently, because to store the property also we need some memory, right? So I say integer x equal to 10. So integer x equal to 10, there is a type integer. First of all, we have to associate that memory location with the type also. So there will be some memory required to reference to that type, so that when the Java compiler compiles, they will know, okay, I know the value is 10, but whether it is a string or an integer, how will I know? So I will use the property of that value. There will be a property tag associated in the value. That property I will see, okay, now I found it. I found the value as a integer. So then I will use as an integer. So the compiler will find out, oh, this is an integer value. So let's use it. Let the user use as an integer. If it is not, so now the compiler got to know that it is an integer, but then I am trying to use it as a string. So immediately it will throw error saying that, oh, here in memory it is referencing as a integer, but now user is trying to use as a string. So throw one warning, throw some red color error on the screen. So we see errors. That's how it works in the background, right? So now we had created an array list of no length, right? Dynamic length. We can assign as many values as we want, right? And then remove. So now we have added 5 values, right? I added one more, 6th here. We can add duplicate values also. We can add anything. A string will always accept string, remember that. So we can duplicate strings also we can add. And duplicate strings internally, like heap memory and the Java string constant pool, right? We know that. So if I have a 12 as a string here, right? And then use 12 again here, right? So what it is going to do? It is going to use the same value from memory, but then assign a different index in the array list, but pointing to the same value in the heap. So this internally, so you don't need to worry. But we can add duplicate values to the array list any number of times. So 12 we can add 100 times also, because that does not matter. It is just a array list and it can store anything, but if based on the type, right? If it is a string type, it will store strings, but duplicates are also allowed. Now array list of null. Suppose instead of 12 I give null. Will it allow? Why it is allowing? And there null can be a string also, right? Both the things are there. This is actually literally null in double quotes, means it is a string like ABC. But if I remove this, then that becomes a null object, right? Nothing. Null means nothing. So it assigns a value null in one of the location of the array list, right? So now I added some values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I am removing. See, till here I will print now before removing, right? So this was our code earlier before removing, right? So we'll remove this. I mean, we'll print this, and then I will remove the 0th. Okay, and then I will print it. So let's have what is there below this. Nothing, same print only, right? After removing, we'll print. Let's see. See what it did. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 12, 12, 12, null. Right? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 12, 12, 3 times and null. Right? It printed. Now I remove the 0th. 10 is gone. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 12 to 3 times and null. So null is also acceptable value. Whether it is any type of array, null will be acceptable. Null is just meaning null. There is nothing here in this index. Okay. So array list is very similar to array, but only thing is it is dynamic, right? It is dynamic. The size need not be declared when we declare that array. So it is dynamic. You add, keep removing, keep adding, right? Then it is like a rubber band. I told you last time also. You keep adding, it stretches, but then when you remove, automatically it comes to that shape, right? So if I have 100 elements and I remove 50, half the size memory will contain. Then if I remove all, so the rubber band becomes small, without any length. Like that, it is like a rubber band. It's a dynamic data structure where memory is allocated dynamically based on the user reference. If the user is adding and removing, memory keeps changing up and down, right? Added, memory increased. Removed, it decreases, like that. So very simple. So don't forget it now. Array and array list. So these are the two core things which the automation people will be using. Array is static, length is specified initially, memory is blocked, whereas in array list, you just have to dynamically keep adding and removing the elements, right? So array list has so many other methods. Keep practicing this also. Array list dot, if you do, you get so many methods. So in add also, you can see add is directly having a single parameter, add. Then add is having another method with index, and this is called method overriding. See, based on the parameter you are passing, it will call one of the add. There are two adds, right? Based on the parameter, if you pass a single, it will call this. If you pass two values, say for example add, and I will say 0, and then I will say hello, right? And give a semicolon. So what will happen? Now tell me what will happen. So you are specifying an index 0 and passing the value hello. So if you run this, the second method will call, right? See what it did? What it did now? Since we are doing after this step, right? Before removing is same. After removing 0, right, we removed 10 and then added a hello. So at the 0th index, it added this one. So the remaining is still same, right? Remaining is still same. So using index also, you can use you can add elements using index also. So since this is dynamic, see now how will I show you 100. Now see what will happen. This is what is called playing. Index, it is dynamic. People say array list is dynamic. There is no limitation. Any number of elements we can add. Can I add 100 index? Yes or no. You can see it now. So we'll put a debug point. Always use debug point to run your things. It will help you to understand one by one. So now before adding or before removing, I have this many values. Now I remove the 0. So I don't have this 10, right? Now I added at the 100th index hello. So what will happen? What it did? Index out of bound exception. Let's complete it and see. So what it is saying? Exception in thread main index 100 size 8. Right? Size 8. ArrayList.java. So here in your ArrayList test, this step is saying at the 100th index, you are trying to add hello. So then how it becomes dynamic? Right? Can we add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? We had 9 values. We have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 values we have in our array list. Then I remove the 0. Right? So it becomes 8 now. Now I am saying add at 100th index. So is there an index 100 in the current array? No. Right? Is there a 100th index in the current array? No. So that is why it is saying size is 8, but you are saying go and add in the index 100. So it will not allow because you are passing index, right? So what you have to do, if you want to add 100 hello, you can do it initially. Say starting with itself, I will use 100. Once I have an array, I remove something, then the index will not work. So now if I don't have this, right? Say for example, I created an array list and then I want to add an element at 100 index. Will it work? Put a debug mode here, and debug point is double click on the line, blue color, and then wherever you want, double click. Take your mouse pointer there and double click, and then debug it. Right? So what will happen now? It is saying out of bound exception. What is it saying? Size is 0 and you are giving an index 100. Now this is also your task. You have to tell me why data structure is dynamic. Why I am not able to add at the 100th location. Tell me. If someone can respond now. Array is static, array list is dynamic. There is no limit to the length, right? Size of the array. Any size we can. But I'm trying to add at the 100th location. It is not letting me. It is not throwing any error. But when I run, it is saying out of bound exception. Why is that? Tell me. It's okay. I will not give you the answer. You have to practice this. Find it out and tell me tomorrow. Okay. All other programs also I want to see. Along with this, I want to see that infinite loop also. Create an infinite loop, run it and see, and stop it using this red button here. Until you don't stop it, your laptop also will keep consuming the battery and keep running whole day. Right? So stop it, but create an infinite loop. And now you tell me about this also. Can we create an array list and assign 100th index value directly since it is dynamic? Can we provide a size to array list? Is the second question. Can we provide a size to array list? Say array list is dynamic, they are saying, but can we make it fixed length array list? Can we do that? If yes, how do we provide the size? Right? Or what is the reason for not getting added at the 100th location? Because I will give you a hint. This is an array list. It does not have any length, right? So the size is 0, right? Size is 0. Now we are trying to add at 100th location, right? Can we do it? I will not tell this answer. Size is 0, but one hint I have given, right? So size is 0, but we are trying to add to the 100 location. If I don't give this 100 here, why it is not considering size as 0 and not allowing this? Right? Size is 0 initially here, but then add with only the hello without any index, it is allowing me, right? What is the reason? If I pass index, it is throwing error. So do your homework and let's meet tomorrow. So this is what two things I want, all the Java programs and this index 100 and trying to add an element to the array list. Practice this and I want to see what you guys come back with. Okay, in a 0 size array list, you keep adding with simple add hello 1 2 3 it adds, but as soon as I provide index, it is failing. It is failing. If I give 0 here, will it work? See, it is working, right? 0th index is working. First index is not working. So, yeah.
Yeah, for this array list of integer, array list is equal to new array list of integer of 100.
Can you tell me again what is that? You have to convert that 100 to integer.
No, here you wrote that list of integer, like first line,
Yeah.
in the first line.
Yeah.
Same thing, instead of string, you need to write
Mhm.
integer.
Okay, I will do that for you. Okay, and here also integer.
Next, array list is equal to, yeah, integer.
Okay.
Inside that of,
Mm-hmm.
inside the parenthesis, you need to give
Okay.
100.
Okay.
100.
This
Yeah.
is the size you have given. Okay.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, there
Now
instead of
I will give
100.
index 99. You are saying I'll give index 99 and try to store the value. This you are saying.
Yeah.
What happened?
Index not of point exception.
This you told about integer array list. My basic requirement was string array list.
Okay.
Okay. So now I want to add at 100th index or 99th index. Right? And value is say 1. String only I'm adding. I'm not reading integer. Now tell me why it is throwing error. You have given the size also. Okay, so this will be your task for you at least. who have already started thinking about it, and other programs also. Tomorrow I'll want to see your basic Java variable declaration, array list, infinite loop, and this. Okay, so let's see. Let's make your hands dirty, start practicing, face errors, and resolve them. If you are not able to resolve them, take help from me. Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow. So this will be your task. Try. It's good that you are thinking now and doing it immediately, but keep doing it. So all of us, I would request now only, if you have time, if you don't have office, or you finish your breakfast, right, and then you do this. How do I add, or why I am not able to add? There are two questions: whether I will be able to add at that index, or whether not. If not, then why? That's the reason. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow and come with the answers question. Okay, and create those programs with infinite loop. Okay, guys, any questions you have to ask now?
Anil, can you share
Yeah.
the syllabus copy?
Yeah, I think I have already shared. Okay, I sent the other things. Yeah, I will share it. This content, this right, this one.
Yeah, this one.
Okay, I will share it. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay.
Okay, guys, see you tomorrow. Please practice. I will expect tomorrow with your programs. No excuses saying speed is less or something like that. Please don't make things properly, and let's share your screen, all of us, all of you, and then show it to me what you have practiced. Copy paste from Google, no worries, but practice it. Okay. Obviously, Google is our source. Whatever help you need, we go to Google, right? So go to Google, search programs, search for small Java programs, basic, and paste them in your Eclipse. Try to run them. If you're able to run them successfully in the first time, then go line by line. Don't think that, oh, I'm able to successfully do it. You have to, I may ask you the reason also. Can you change this and run now? And if you see error, you have to be, you should be able to tell me the reason for that error, right? So write, if you write, it will help you instead of copy pasting. But for help, you can go and see Google. Okay, try to type the lines code. Okay, thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sabha.
Thank you.